I'm Susan Stan, a longtime USBBY member, and it is my very great pleasure to give the introduction to Dr. Christiane Raabe, who is the director of the International Youth Library in Munich. Wally has done some of my work for me, explaining the origin and how the International Youth Library came to be. I can add a little bit to that. It is not simply a collection of books, of international books from all around the world, but it is a proactive staff that wants to bring together scholars of children's literature from all parts of the world, also to bring to everybody else what they have in their collection through exhibitions, through the White Ravens, which is a catalog, an annual catalog of what they consider the very best of children's books published in a given year. That is online and accessible to all of you, as is their entire library. The catalog is there. You can see what's there. You have to go there to actually see the books. However, it is a wonderful place. I know some of you out there have been there. I urge everybody to stop by at some time. But just for now, what we'll get is a taste of one of their exhibitions. So, Dr. Raabe, are you ready?
Thank you so much for this welcome. This is really wonderful to be here, dear Susan Stan, also for this wonderful introduction. Dear friends of the International Children's and Youth Adult Literature, dear members of USBBY, it is a great honor for me to participate in the 11th EB Regional Conference Through the Looking Glass, exploring the wonderland of international children's literature. And it is a pleasure to introduce the traveling exhibition of our house, Anaristan, contemporary children's book illustration from Iran. I came here directly from Frankfurt Book Fair, which once again was a source of inspiration and intensive exchange of expertise. In this year, Iran, you have heard it maybe, boycotted the fair because Salman Rushdie was among the invited guests. This boycott sadly sets Iran back on the recently chosen painful path out of international isolation. But as so often within the last months, news like these seem to confirm that irrationality, religious fundamentalism, and national egotism have won. In some governing states, it obviously has become socially acceptable to stir up conflicts instead of working together towards a peaceful unity. We are far away from universal peace, a fact which Europeans are currently experiencing in view of the enormous modern migration of refugees from Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And maybe you saw the pictures from Munich, which we had there, about 30,000 refugees coming during 2 weeks. I'm convinced that in this international crisis, cultural work is more important and meaningful than ever. Culture is able to overcome hostilities, preserve and rebuild bridges long torn down by political and economic players, and to preserve the hope for a better future. Cultural exchange creates mutual understanding and helps build the foundation of peace. If we move from the culture in general to international children's and youth literature, Jella Leppmann was among the first to advocate the power of children's literature to help understand and change the world. For her, children's books were messengers of peace in the midst of a bewildered and corrupt world. The International Youth Library, together with IBI and IBI's national sections, is carrying on this heritage. We are working for the promotion of international children's and youth literature because we believe it can foster cultural diversity and intercultural understanding. Against the background of the rapidly degrading international situation, this mission gains new timeliness and urgency. The same holds true for the exhibition Anaristan, contemporary children's book illustration from Iran, which we inaugurated in Munich 2 years ago. It was the first exhibition about young Iranian children's book illustration ever to be seen in Germany. Presenting this exhibition in New York City today sets a strong sign in a country that has been working hard to put an end to the political ice age with Iran. While this context endows the exhibition with a political meaning, the exhibition itself is completely apolitical. As you will see, and we have, after this very short introduction, we will see all the pictures of the exhibition here in the digital version. As you will see, Anaristan is primarily colorful, full of life, inventive, bright, playful, modern, and diversified. The idea of the exhibition came from Berlin illustrator Tom Eigenhofe, a passionate advocate of Persian illustration. In 2010, he traveled to Tehran, where he came up with the idea of this exhibition together with Ali Bozari, whom some of you might know as he is also committed in IBI Iran. Many Europeans, and I assume this is true also for US citizens, are not aware of the fact that Iran has been home of an artistically sophisticated and diverse illustration art for many years. It compares favorably with internationally established children's book nations such as Germany or France, or USA, I have to say this here. Modern in visual language and means of expression, unconventional in their storytelling, and fabulous in the composition of images and texts, some of the Iranian artists managed to step onto the international stage. 16 illustrators, most of them young, participated in this exhibition with the title Anaristan. Anaristan means land of pomegranate in the Persian language Farsi. I learned that pomegranates, I hope the pronunciation is right, play an important role in Persian mythology. In the exhibition Anaristan, the works of these young artists take the spectator into expressive picture book worlds. It is not the place to introduce the oeuvre of each of those illustrators who participated in this project, but I will focus very briefly on two trends. Some illustrators, and we see here the first one, build on national artistic heritage and ironically play with its narrative traditions, symbols, and the visual language of Persian miniature painting. This is very obvious in the pictures by Ali Reza Golduzian. This is one of his pictures, born in 1976. His refreshing style connects Persian miniature painting with wit and humor. It is lovely to see how he uses the sizes of the figures and the architecture in a symbolic way to present the powerful king in a ridiculous position. With her own unique painting style and intensive coloring, Reza Makhtabi, who was also born in 1976, creates pictures with Oriental atmosphere, which are inspired by the traditional Iranian painting and folk art. With his artistic dynamic color woodcut, Ali Bozari brings Oriental illustration culture into the 21st century. And then here is Ami Shapinipour's art, which is characterized by dense image spaces which play out the balance between decorative and abstracted style. His narrative illustrations, for which he uses various hand-printed techniques, are full of details and minor stories and skillfully play with spaces and characters. In this context, I especially would like to mention the young illustrator Rasheen, who is guest of this conference and who has been living in New York for some years. She was also in Munich for the opening of the exhibition in September 2013, and I'm very happy that I met her, or that I will meet her during the conference. Rasheen masters the art of mixing Oriental motifs with humor, but she also knows, you see it on the second image, how to let go of her Persian roots. Like many of her young postmodern colleagues, she uses a wide array of stylistic devices. I would like to call her the young rebel of Iranian illustration, together with Farshi Shafiei, whose pictures execute the aesthetic power of children's drawings. His paintings are further characterized by a reduced palette of color. In his work, the traditional Persian miniature painting is only recognizable as an ironic echo. These few examples are only appetizers intended to whet your appetite for this exhibition. Inaristan shows how a national illustrator's scene masters the balance between tradition and modernism. This balancing act finds open ears in a globalized world without denying its own cultural roots. Thanks to the commitment of USBBY, especially Linda Pavonetti and Junko Yakota, you can enjoy this exhibition here at the conference when it is seen here as a digital version. I would like to cordially thank them, also in the name of the curator, Tom Eigenhofe. Exploring the Wonderland of International Children's Literature is the subtitle of this conference. Anaristan is located just within this wonderland. Take a look and see. Thank you.